Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode where nothing is easy. Warriors and witches, how y'all doing? And God bless. We have a bit of a hard rant for you today. This one pertaining to Arc Raiders. Now, Arc Raiders, let's just say, obviously, I have not played the game. The gameplay looks good, and the overall PvP and PvE aspect of the game looks interesting, but the characters look fucking like shit, and $20 skins to make you look even more like shit. It's not enough. Not enough for me. Not enough. I gotta have both. You know what I mean? I gotta have the best of both worlds. But there is something good here. If you were to like this game, if it's for you, then it's for you. If it's not, he's like that. That's all fine. What I want to focus on is the fact that people online are saying that streamers are too big-headed because, you know, they want more of the PvP aspect than the PvE. So they like the fact that it's PvP and PvE. That's what they like. Well, in actuality, if you're into extraction shooters, that's what you get. That's the core of the game gameplay, the PvP and the PvE. You don't know whether or not this person is friend or foe. You gotta fight all these robots. That is Arc Raiders in its finest. If you were to take it away and just do PvE, and you want to do this whole relaxing simulator bullshit, I think it's bullshit. You take away the game and watch how fast. Let's just watch this video by Endymion.
Arc Raiders has become the next big thing in games. I would confidently claim it's having its Helldivers 2 moment, where it releases as a big unknown, and suddenly becomes the thing that everyone can't seem to stop talking about. I've been playing it myself. I'm around level 15 so far. I had a guy shoot me recently and take my modded shotgun from my corpse, and yes, I'm still salty about it. But the game is fun.
That's part of the game. It's good. It's good. Hey. I felt that way too with other extraction shooters.
However, it seems like the usual types are trying to make Arc Raiders into something it was never meant to be. But first, let's go over the numbers because, well, it's impressive. A scene here from Gaming Bolt, they reported that the game has now sold somewhere over 2 million units on Steam alone. Factoring in the other platforms, yeah, the game is a bona fide hit already. But what's even more absurd is its open critic score. Like, dude, look at this. Arc Raiders has a 100 out of 100 score for
you like
players
this? Yeah.
on Open Critic. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. A legit perfect score from the people who bought the game is kind of crazy, but hey, as of now anyways, that is true. I'm sure the number will eventually drop somewhat in the future.
I want you guys to know this. The game is PvE and PvE right now in its totality. There is no PvE section or just strictly PvP. You get the best of both worlds, and this is what people like. That's why it has 100%. Keep that in mind.
Future, but at this very moment anyways, it's still pretty insane. Even the critic scores are high, putting the game in the 90s. Well, like I said, the point of this video isn't really how good the game is or how it's doing, because all of that is pretty obvious. This video is actually how the content creators who push a game like this, from your big time streamers and so on, all seem to be trying to do to Arc Raiders what they tried to do with seemingly every single other multiplayer shooter game they've also gotten their hands on in the past.
What's that?
I don't want to be shooting robots!
Which is
What's wrong with that? I believe that was Dr. Disrespect, and he said he doesn't want to be shooting robots, and of course he's going to get the best of both worlds. He wants to, he probably wants, I think he's just being hysterical, and that's just his you know, his entertainment. He's okay with shooting PvE type enemies, but he also wants to do the PvP aspect. This is not his first game where he's played a PvP game and a PvE game. So, of course he's making a joke. He just likes the whole dopamine effect of killing other people and taking their loot.
That these streamers are trying to turn Arc Raiders into something it just isn't. One of these people is Tanner Slays. That's this guy on screen here. He openly called for Arc Raiders to just flat out remove the PvE element of the game. Here's what he said. Arc Raiders would be the game if the robots didn't exist. This AI coding ain't it. And then one user then tells Tanner,
I strongly disavow this, because not only I disavow what this individual has said. He would barely, this Tanner guy would stop playing the game so much more quickly if it was just straight PvP. However, also the individuals that just want to do PvE, where it's just robots and no people, they would also move away from the game just as quickly as the people that just want to do just the players. Let's keep going.
That the Ark robots are actually the main thread of the game if you watch the cutscenes that the game started with, but like usual, Tanner, as seen here, admits that he just skipped all the cutscenes to get into the game. Great. Wonderful. So he wants the game to remove the PvE elements, which is more than half of what this game is, by the way, and he didn't even watch the cutscenes either. Unfortunately, this sort of...
By the way, you skipping the cutscenes for an extraction shooter, it makes sense. I'm sorry. You're going to do that with Escape from Tarkov and other extraction shooter type games. That's just how it's going to be. It's just a straight up multiplayer PvP and PvE sort of set game. This is not an RPG. This is not a game with a rolling story and an adventure between a boy and his dog. This game, it's kind of like Marvel Rivals. You think we're playing Marvel Rivals for the story? We want to kill people and look at Emma Frost's ass. Let's just be honest. Nobody gives a fuck about the Ark Raider story. All we know is apocalypse, everybody looks ugly. The end. Get loot. The end.
player exists by the thousands, it's not really unique to Tanner. I have even friends in real life who have thousands of hours in games like Destiny 2 with the best guns and the mods imaginable, but if you ask them what the story or the characters are in Destiny's world, they will look at you like you're speaking a different language. There's just those sorts of players.
To be fair, Destiny did that on themselves. The story had something, but then the devs made the Destiny story plain, average, taste like bread without butter, butter, jelly. It just plain. That's there are players like this, and this is fine. Okay, it's fine. You're not really making any choices with Destiny anyway. The only choices that you make is what kind of gun you want to use. So if they want to skip it, that's fine.
They're playing for the gameplay and the rewards and care next to nothing about, well, really anything else. But claiming that PvE shouldn't exist is kind of crazy. I'm actually on the opposite side. I think PvE should become more of a focus, if I'm being honest. And if you want more content that isn't corporate slop tied to big companies dictating what people can or can't say, consider liking this video, subscribing, or becoming a channel member. Thank you. And what I say next, it might anger some people, but hear me out. But also let me know what you think too, because no opinion here is wrong either, but it's actually, in my opinion, the PvP element of this game that I find the least important. I may even drop a hot take here, but let me just say it, I would actually be totally fine if Ark Raiders added PvE only lobbies, and no, I'm not kidding. I mean like full-blown lobbies where yes, you can run into other players, but you guys can't shoot each other, and you gotta face increased PvE.
Trash. This is an extraction shooter, you need both. That's a stupid idea. Is the game successful? You showed us the Metacritic score and it's at 100%. Whether or not that guy that just wants PvP only wants PvP, or if you want PvE just because you want PvE only, you two don't matter. If something is perfect, don't fix it. Just don't fix it. Not the Metacritic score, but obviously the game critic score. It's at 100%. People love it. Then don't touch it. Leave it the way it is. I guarantee you, when it comes to just PvE, you're gonna destroy. There are two types of videos that I see on Twitter or TikTok or whatever. One, it's whether or not the person that one player is talking to another player and they're trying to suss out who is like a good person. A friendly? Yeah, friendly. And then it's like a funny bout to see if they're going to shoot each other. That's a cool moment. And then the other videos that get a lot of likes stuff is basically a giant robot shoving his metal hand up your ass. Those are the two videos. You take away the aspect of the PvP, you're going to have less of a game. You might as well just play Borderlands. No, I'm serious. Tanner, he might as well just play. He might as well just play Battlefield. You, on the other hand, Endymion, you might as well just play Borderlands. You want to shoot robots? There's robots in Borderlands. You are stepping into an area that is what it is. It is supposed to have this dopamine sort of effect where it's like you don't know who to trust and you need to get your loot out. Let's continue. I have more to say.
Threats. I would actually love that for this sort of game. I know it might sound crazy to some, but in actuality, I think a large part of the player base of games like Arc Raiders are not PvP players clearly. In fact, the majority of them are actually casual players based on those sales numbers anyways, because the reality is that you don't get to 2+ million sales on your game with no...
You get those numbers because you have that already. That's what I said before. They got the numbers because of the PvP and the PvE aspect. That's just the truth. That's just the way it is. You're gonna have to deal with that sort of aspect. Now, let's say you want to just do robots versus humans. Let's say, oh man, everybody's friends. Ooh, we're fucking, you know, circle jerking each other. We're gonna fight that giant queen robot. You will throw away the game so quickly, it'll make your fucking head spin. The game needs longevity. It needs to be fun, and it needs to have longevity. If it's going to be like what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, what I'm trying to say is all good, everything comes to an end. So, if you were to take away the good aspect of the game, which is the PvE, or you just take away the PvE, then you will go away from this game a lot quicker than you realize. And also, here's another thing. If you don't like the fact that you're getting shot by other people, if you don't like this fact of getting shot by other people and losing your loot, you're going to get shot by a robot. But it seems to me like it sounds like Endymion is just... It's like... and I'm making a guess here. It seems to me like surviving against the robots is much easier than surviving against humans. Which makes sense. That makes sense. But if you take away the challenge... You take away that dopamine, that testosterone feeling that any like boy gamer wants, then you take away not only the essence of what extraction is, but you also take away the sense of Arc Raiders as well.
Prior franchise buildup of any kind by catering only to the crazy PvP-centric players out there. The reality is that games like Arc Raiders, just like Helldivers 2, they all live and breathe based on how they can cater specifically to PvE, and this is key, the casual...
I don't know why you said Helldivers. Helldivers is just completely co-op. That's just how it is. If somebody's... That's a perfect example, though. Helldivers is straight co-op, and that's just the way it is. If you want a game like that, where it's just go in, go out with your buddies, and then shoot some aliens, that's what you're gonna get. You're not gonna be getting shot by no, other player. It feels like... am I having a feelings battle with Endymion here? Why the players? I am so curious why he doesn't want the PvP aspect, but maybe it's because he likes the PvE more. We'll find out.
Players. Let me give you a recent example. Battlefield 6 has actually added a new game mode to their game called Casual Breakthrough. It's like the usual breakthrough mode with tons of people fighting, of course, and vehicles and whatnot, but it's designed actually for people who want to clear their challenges and gain experiences for their guns without getting shot 24/7 by other players who are a lot sweatier than they are. The reason why DICE added this mode to Battlefield 6 was pretty simple. They were likely noticing plenty of lower level players whose KDs aren't 5.0 and above either leaving the game entirely or complaining in forums and online constantly that they're sick of being sniped by monster energy drink infused players who just, end them over and over.
I don't think anybody's monster infused with Battlefield. It's Battlefield. You can get shot by anything. There's how many people between how many people in this game? I think it's like 20v20. Of course you're gonna get shot a lot. So you need to have those moments. It makes sense to make a mode for that, but we're not talking about that. We need to stick to extractions. I don't know why he's bringing up a game that's not an extraction shooter. We need to stick to extraction shooters. I'll wait until he's done.
Over again. Of course, this addition to Battlefield 6 has angered the hardcore side of the fan base, but in reality, I think adding a casual mode to something like Battlefield 6 is going to be a net positive for the game in the future. The reason being is, again, whether you want to admit it or not, the majority of the player bases for these sorts of games are not streamers. These games, including Arc Raiders, they cannot survive.
There's not that many streamers. There are more gamers and players than there are streamers. There's a lot of gamers out there that you don't know the name of that are getting 60 kills and like 5 deaths. And you don't know the name of this person. I don't know why we keep on bringing up streamers. Like it's like, oh man, well, I'm not a streamer. Streamers suck at video games too. I don't know why nobody brings this up. You think that every streamer is good at video games? No, they're not. He's like, not everybody is Shroud. Not everybody is Ted or even Tanner or any of them. That's just how it is. Not everybody's XQC. So there's you need to realize that the streamer is just a little bit louder on the internet. That's it. When it comes to just a regular person, they get on there, they whip some ass, and then they get off the game. I don't know why he brings up streamers. And also, so fucking what? Can I bring that up? So fucking what they're good at the game. A lot of kids are also good at this game too. You grow up and you're no longer good at Guitar Hero, but then this 15-year-old like monster drink enjoyer comes in and rips the Guitar Hero better than you can. It's just how it is. You're older. That's it. We are all older. But you got to realize that younger people also want that challenge as well. Even people my age or even at 30 also want that challenge. We eliminate the challenge of video games, then what the fuck are we doing here then? Men are problem solvers and men play these games. So you try to dumb it down for you just because you're getting your feelings hurt, then maybe you don't belong here.
Survive for years on the dedication or the players who are able to just play these sorts of games for 12 hours a day. The reality is that most people have normal jobs and schedules and other responsibilities.
Yeah, but we also have a lot of kids out there and a lot of people that also have jobs and they also are good at video games. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have jobs. So fucking what? We need to stop. See, this is why there are this is why we get people doing the whole TOS thing with the voice chat. This is why they come up and say like, oh, you can't say mean things or we're gonna ban you off the game. This is why. This is why right fucking here. Because you'll get these people over here complaining about like, oh, I can't win. Oh, they're killing me. Oh, and then we tell them to get good like in Demon Souls. And then they'll be like, well, I'm just going to move away from the game. Well, then I guess the game's just not for you then. That's just how this works. People like challenge. All of these things are challenges. And by the way, none of these challenges are impossible. If they were impossible to achieve, then honey, we have a conversation.
No, it doesn't mean they don't also play games, but I think the dad with kids who works 8 hours a day and wants to enjoy an hour or two of Battlefield a night or Arc Raiders to level up his guns and have fun is just as valid to enjoy his time spent as, say, Shroud or someone who plays for, again, 14 hours a day every single day, min-maxing their stats and their equipment and sniping people between pixels of rubble because they're so insane. And if you think the streamers are who these kinds of games should cater to, that's actually...
It's not just streamers, it is also gamers. There are people out there that do have one job and then they come home and then they do excellent kills. There are more. See, if he wants to talk about casual gamers, he needs to also realize that there are more regular people, casual people playing this game that are not streamers and they're good at the game. Let's keep going. What do you think? Every time that you bust into Battlefield 6, you're gonna see a roster of like streamers that you know? Fuck no. It's like, oh shit, for some odd reason, Shroud keeps following me, or fucking like Dr. Disrespect keeps on following me and he's in the enemy team. It doesn't work like that. Let's keep going.
Usually how these games actually fail, because it's always better to cater to the overwhelming 99% of players than that small fringe.
Not always. Not always. A game for everyone is a game for no one.
Minority that plays these games with lightning fast movement, like they have,
because they will complete these little things that you're talking about. Oh, well, what if he needs to complete this thing but he keeps on getting killed? Or what if this guy needs to complete this thing and collect some stuff but he keeps on getting killed? You do realize that if he achieves what he wants a lot quicker, then he will leave the game much quicker. Goal achieved, mission accomplished, mission accomplished, mission accomplished. You've never died. Mission accomplished. You don't really have that many struggles in the game because there's no other players for you to interact with. Boom, you're out of the game. $40. You played the game for less than a week. You're already done. You're wondering why that game is still in your fucking. It's like, this game's the greatest game of all time. And I'm like, nigga, you've only played it for 40 hours. Okay, all right, it's fine. But there are people that you do realize these games are pretty much live services, right? So they gotta last a little bit longer. I mean, I'm pretty sure they've already made their money back already with Arc Riders. Arc Riders, is it Arc Riders? Arc Riders, yeah. But there are people that want to continuously play the game. If you want to be that person that wants to go in and out of a game that you just paid for, then be my guest. But don't come into extraction shooters or shooting games and then you cry about getting shot by other players.
Red Bull being injected straight into their brains. Look, I'll fully admit it, okay? I'm not a hardcore Arc Raiders or Battlefield or really
Arc Raiders, not Riders.
Any sort of shooter fan myself. I could care less about my KD. I don't care about ranking up in some ranked mode. I play mostly single player games for a reason. Even when I play Marvel Rivals, I just play casual. I admit it. I don't care. And it's,
if you don't care, then you should look forward to the developers not caring about what you want. If you actually don't care, then you should look forward to the developers not caring what you want. If you're in and out that quickly, then why the fuck would they cater to you? You've already given them $70 for this Battlefield 6 game, and you've already given them $40 for Arc Raiders. You're the in and out type of person, meanwhile everybody else is probably a bigger fan than you. Guess what? Guess what? Those casual people that you're talking about, those people that actually like the game, that are probably fans, want to sustain the game a little bit longer than you do. So I want to preface this a little bit more. You are also one of those streamers and YouTubers, just a little bit different. Let's say the streamers, like you say, they want the, just a PvP ass. By the way, that was just one person. That was just one person that he showed. It was Tanner. Okay? If I remember correctly, here. There's this woman that played the game.
I know why I like this game.
Arc Raiders.
I know why I like Arc, and I know why I'm good at Arc. I finally figured it out. Okay? Arc Raiders is like living in Colombia. You are in your house and you're gonna go outside, but you only leave the house with what you're willing to lose, okay? You bring your flip phone, you bring a couple bucks in cash.
You're bringing a burner?
Because you don't know if you're coming back with those things, okay? You don't know if you're coming back with your shoes. You don't know if you're coming back with your money. You're definitely not coming back with your cell phone. Chat.
That's how it is.
See, this lady has more testosterone than you motherfuckers out there. Okay? They obviously like this sort of thing. Because it's like, you went out there with your glowy gun or whatever the fuck out there, And you chose to go out there. You chose to go out there, Endymion, with your cool little gun. You got shot by a motherfucker, and then you lost your gun. You do realize if you got shot by a robot, you would also, or killed by a robot, you would also lose your stuff. You do realize I've played Escape from Duck-Off, and that's a single-player PvE game. You get killed by somebody, your stuff is left right there. And I was like, shit, who am I to blame? Oh, that's right, myself. And what did my dumbass do? I tried to run right back without any fucking gear on, like a dumbass, to retrieve my gear. Guess what? I got fucking killed. And who do I got to blame? Not the developers, but my fucking dumbass. I got killed and I lost my shit. Just like you lose your souls in Demon Souls. By the way, this is the same thing with like Souls-like games. You want that difficulty. You want that challenge so you can figure out we are problem solvers. Games like these are problem solver games. They just are. And men like that shit. If you lost that shit, if you lost that testosterone dopamine thing, don't come... Bro, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Let's continue a little bit more.
Mostly because I can't stand playing with people 90% of the time anyways. Either because I...
So you don't even like people. Okay, so what are we supposed to do for you, Endymion? What are we supposed to do for you? You want us to suck your toes while you're shooting robots? What do you want? It's just like, if you want to play a green-haired fat bitch and make a coffee shop, then play that game.
hate waiting on others, but also because I find many other players in games are just very reactive and they shoot first and ask questions later.
If you know that, then why aren't you reacting to something that you already fucking know? You ever think about that? It's like, oh shit, most of the players are like this. And I'm like, so then react accordingly.
If you played Arc Riders, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And a big reason why I enjoyed stuff like Helldivers 2 or even Destiny, for example, was simple because it wasn't, at least at first anyways, PvP focused. And just like Arc Raiders, the same sort of streamers like Dr. Disrespect, for example, have notoriously tried to push for Helldivers, just like he is now with Arc Raiders, by the way, that he wants Battle Royale in these sorts of games. But the point is that by removing Arc enemies...
I don't know why we're talking about Battle Royale. Why are we talking about Battle Royale? Are they talking about they want everything to be Battle Royale? Fine, I don't care about that. We're talking about extraction shooters. I didn't hear about anything about Battle Royale until now in this video. Why are we talking about Battle Royale? I'm only focused on one thing. I don't care about Destiny 2, that's a different game. I don't care about Helldivers, that's a different game entirely, that's a PvE game. All I care about is literally the extraction shooter method. That's what I like. That's the shit that we like. You want to play Battlefield and you want to do the you want to do the takedowns and, you know, 1 versus 1, you take down their respawns and against them. That's a different beast. You want to do Destiny 2? Nobody's playing Destiny 2 anyway. So I don't know why we're talking about that right now. That game is gay. And now we're talking about Helldivers. Helldivers is a co-op game. And if these streamers are talking about, oh man, it would be cool if we did like a battle royale or something, fine. If they just want more video games, that's fine. My only focus is if a game like extraction shooter games, you're coming into the space of extraction shooters and you're basically just like streamers. You're basically just like these streamers. Let me get the stuff.
Missed the point of...
Let me get the light out of your eyes. But basically what I'm trying to say is the streamers are begging for Battle Royale. Meanwhile, you, Endymion, are begging for things to be easier and more of a PvE aspect for Arc Raiders. So both of you are begging for something in the game. I'm over here saying it's just fine. You understand me? If it's already got these high scores already, and it's already getting many players in, then it's just fine already. Okay? It's another example, and this is not an extraction shooter game. God damn it. Here we go. Fortnite, the no build thing. The only reason that they're doing the no build thing is because they just want to increase longevity of the game. And then another thing that they do is that they do the whole, yo, we're gonna do Simpsons, and then next time we're gonna do like Transformers. They crazily like pick up the game. But Fortnite is not built for everyone. Yes, it has a lot of money, but is the game fun? Probably for you guys, but it's not for everyone. That's a game for... Fortnite is for casuals. It's just a whole bunch of people who don't have loot. You should play that game. You should play Fortnite. It doesn't take itself seriously. It already changed itself to not be serious. You just go in there, do your little dance, shoot some people, die or win, and then you're out of there with your little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like fucking suit and shit, and do a few emotes. It doesn't take itself seriously. However, when it comes to these extraction shooters, it's for people that take the game seriously. I do not like the word sweats or tryhards, because that's what dudes like to do. They like to challenge themselves in a video game. When I play Escape from Duck-Off, he's like, I'm still challenging myself even though it's a PvE game. Because you can lose everything.
What makes Arc Raiders special either. Even the developers have admitted in the past that not only are the Arc enemies the main threat of the game over PvP, I mean, it's literally called Arc Raiders for a reason, but that they do plan to evolve the game beyond it to something from what it is today, because even in their minds, you can't reliably hope that the PvP element of this game will be enough to sustain it. Here's what one of the developers said via Twitch, and please watch this.
And certainly the end game play has to evolve with the game as we go, and you know, we even as early as a year ago began talking about what the next evolution was, so it's something that's on our radar for sure. So once the game's live, we see how players are engaging with the game loop we have, the game mode we have. I think it's only natural to look toward the future and how we evolve that experience, because I can't say for sure that the game will subsist forever on the format we have today.
That's a good question.
I think if you've taken a moment in any one of these sessions and stood still and listened to the low soundtrack and the wind and the trees and looked on these environments, that this game can hold so much more than just the game mode we have today, however compelling it might be. And I think it'd always be a waste of what we've built to keep it there.
As you just...
That man is referring to not only the modes, but he's also talking about the end game. He is focusing, he might do the PvE aspect, but I think that this is what he's going to do. He's going to add more robots and probably a more devastating map with a change in how you finish an extraction. This is always possible. They're also doing this with Marvel Rivals. They're adding like little side quests and little, you know, PvE stuff as well. But from what I've seen, nobody's really playing the PvE aspect of the fucking that Halloween shit. Barely anybody fucking played that shit. They were just like, it's here. And nobody really cared. We just focused pretty much on the PvP aspect of Marvel Rivals. He could possibly do that, like different modes and stuff, but I think from what he said, from what he gave us, the information that he said, he was focusing on endgame stuff. So he's not saying that, you heard him, right? He was focusing towards the endgame and something where it's like you're not doing the same thing always all the time. I think he wants to increase the danger. I think that's what he wants to do, because if you increase the challenge, change the challenge, I think you could have something deeper with Arc Raiders. I don't think he's fucking talking about PvE. That's not going to increase longevity with the fucking game. It's just not with Arc Raiders, not with an extraction shooter. It just won't. Hunt Showdown grew exponentially after a few updates, and it still has PvE and PvP. Now they're making a second game called Blight. So,
heard, Arc Raiders will evolve beyond what it is today. What that form becomes, I don't know yet. But if I had to guess, I think the way you keep a game like this alive is you delve more into the PvE elements over that of its...
That's not what he's saying. Adding PvE elements is not what will increase it. oh, cool, you get to shoot robots. How long is that going to matter? You'll shoot robots with random people who can't shoot you back. You'll shoot robots with those people, and then you leave. There's no sense of build-up. By the way, you could still get... If we're complaining about, like, losing loot by people, you could still, like I said before, you could still die by robots and lose your shit in the game. You already got a lot of robots already in the game. I think them adding a more devastating appeal when it comes to these robots would be crazy good. You know what would be a good idea? Is if Arc Raiders added, like, fucking Terminator style type of characters where you think it's a person but it's actually a robot. That would be interesting. Not PvE only.
PvP, if you ask me. For a great example, I mentioned it already, of how trying to cater to both parties tends to rip a game apart, just go look at Destiny, and especially
if you're saying both areas is going to, you know, PvP and PvE is going to make the game worse, then how come the game is succeeding? This game has PvP and PvE in the game. There's a good possibility that you could make a friend with somebody in this game by either killing them or making friends with them. You can make friends in this game. And that sense of, like, danger / like, you know, curiosity is what made this game appealing. Why would you take the appeal of what Arc Raiders is away from it?
Destiny 2. That game has for years tried to cater to both PvP players and the more casual and far larger PvE.
I don't care about Destiny. I'm talking about extraction shooters. We need to get back on topic.
Player base. The problem, however, with Destiny 2 is that the nature of how the guns and abilities and so on exist, it becomes a logistical nightmare. Trying to figure out how exactly you can balance.
That's what he was literally just talking about. You just were watching a video about the developers saying, we got to do something about the end game and making a mode catering to people that are in the end game who are actually, you know, really good at the game. That's what he's literally talking about. And you just looked at it like he could do PvE if you ask me.
All of these incredible powers and the gun perk, with most of them, let's be real, built for PvE play into a PvP-centric environment. The answer that Bungie came to with Destiny 2 anyways, was that they would make guns and such that were only suited for PvP. This led to weapons like the Mountaintop, the Ace of Spades, the Thorn, Igneous Hammer, Ias Luna, Gallowhorn. Those are the ones on top.
This is a different game. This is a completely different game. It's a completely different game. This game has a story. It's got action and adventure. It's got PvP and it's got PvE, and none of them are. This is an extraction shooter we're talking about. It's a completely different game. If you played Destiny 2, you would feel a little bit more lighthearted when playing the game because you're not going to lose your loot. In extraction shooters, you can lose your fucking loot. I don't know why he's bringing up Destiny 2. Fuck Destiny 2.
My head anyways, and many more, all becoming the best weapons in PvP, at least when I was playing it anyways. But the problem with Destiny 2, for example, and why this is important to Arc Raiders to learn, is that eventually those PvP players will want harder, more extreme modes. So
that's what he literally was just talking about in the video. You see what I mean? That the developer was literally just talking about that. Endgame content.
then Destiny 2 would create the Trials of Osiris, where you would need to win 7 games in a row to go to the lighthouse to get your loot. And this was for the best loot in the game, pretty much. So
this Trials of... You think there's going to be some sort of Trials of Osiris in Arc Raider?
the best of the best players would all play together. It got so competitive and toxic that players would start using hacks to crash enemy players' IP addresses, and I'm not kidding, to force them to lose so that they could win without even playing the game. This then led to players who did reach the lighthouse gaining weapons with the best PvP-centric roles, who would then go back into the mode, obviously, and then demolish the players who couldn't reach the lighthouse because either they were also getting their IP addresses destroyed, or they were just getting defeated by the players who were able to get to the lighthouse that had dramatically better.
This is like us talking about Borderlands, and then he brings up Destiny, and then we're like, why are you bringing up Destiny? Destiny, we gotta watch out for Borderlands, because Borderlands could end up like Destiny. Destiny is like a multiplayer PvP and PvE type style game with like, you know, red versus blue and all this stuff. Borderlands is just straight up co-op where you just shoot a bunch of people and do quests. But it could be like Destiny 2. Both games have guns. Therefore, they could be the same game.
Better weapons that are suited for, you know, the game mode they were playing. This obviously destroyed the PvP element of Destiny 2, and don't even get me started on those players.
The only thing that destroyed Destiny 2 was the fact that they kept on vaulting shit. Nobody fucking cares. You can do Vault of Osiris, you could do all this shit. The only thing that really mattered was, one, the story was shit at the, you know, coming near the end, and number two, there was the vaulting, and what else? Because everybody was building up to the lore, but there are people that don't do the lore. I guess you could say that it's about the guns and stuff like that, but I think that there was not enough like material in the game. There was not enough stuff to do in Destiny. I think there was a lot of stuff to do, but not that much. I think another portion was just Destiny 2. Why am I talking about Destiny 2? Like, I give a fuck about what they did back then. Can we continue?
That had all of the Trials of Osiris amazing gear, and then them going into the casual PvP like playlist, whatever it's called. Like, dude, it was so toxic and awful. And whenever they would add new abilities and other guns and whatever else, it continued to just ruin and then sever the balance between the PvE and the PvP sides of Destiny. Nowadays, Destiny 2's player base is in the dumps for all sorts of reasons, but for me anyways, one of the big reasons was that its PvP modes were completely unplayable unless you no-lifed it. It was just people who spend more time than I did in the game using weapons that were dramatically better than mine, that were tailor-made for that mode.
We're gonna get back to Arc Raiders in a minute.
I just stopped playing it. And Arc Raiders, like I said, could head down a similar path, which is why I think when you have a game that is...
There are many things you can do with Arc Raiders to make sure that not everybody, you know, the players that stayed are not super tough all the time. You could do like, you know, a 3-month wipe or something like that, or you know, 5-month wipe. You could also do tokens, so you don't lose you know, all of your loot when the wipe happens. You could do a lot of different things that can appeal to everyone, where like once the wipe happens, everybody's on an even playing field. You don't have to just do like, oh man, listen, my name is Billy, I'm 40 years old, you know, I got a family, I got kids to feed, how do I play Arc Raiders? Well, it's like, you could do PvE and shoot robots. Oh, this is great. This motherfucker will play the game for maybe 24 hours and then let the game go, because this is how the extraction shooter is. There's not crazy amounts of stuff to do, much like, you know, Borderlands or Destiny. It's one map, you do what you gotta do, and then you leave. You go back out there, get the loot, and then you leave. So when you take the cool element of the PvP, you get less of the game, and there's a more likely chance that you're gonna have a quicker way of finishing the game. The quicker you finish the game, you know, I mean, I hope you get more bang for your buck, is all I'm saying. But if you get less of a challenge, when you're done playing the game, don't come up to us and say like, oh, well, there's nothing else to do, I've done everything. What did you do? PvE? I finished everything in like less than, I only got 24 hours on Steam. You could have had double that if you had PvP.
Both trying to cater to both sides of these elements, eventually that rope is going to snap, and you need to, out of necessity of survival, decide which side of the aisle you want to cater to more to ensure that your game keeps...
Both. If you've already succeeded Arc Raiders, this is where you're at. Just settle with it. It's like, we're good right here.
going in whatever direction you decide. And it's very obvious for anyone who's played Arc Raiders that its PvE element, player versus environment, in case you don't know what it means, is far more important than its PvP, player versus player, because the Arc robot enemies are already dangerous as is. And Embark's
Not really. I mean, come on. Let's think about it. A lot of these enemies, and of course there's ground enemies too, but most of them are flying around, or some of them are big. The flying ones, get inside a building. And if you can't, you know, try to make some cover. You'll kill the monster sooner or later. You can definitely lose aggro with these enemies. I'm watching y'all playing this game. Number 2, when it comes to the big enemies, go inside a building again. That's it. That's it. You want to kill all these monsters and get the loot as fast as you can without this just seems like a bunch of pussies that play this game, and when they get killed by a robot, they're just like, man, I can't believe I lost all my loot, man. I can't believe I lost all my loot, man, by the fucking robot, man. The robot fucked me in the ass, man. But when you get killed by Vanilla Killer 69, now you just changed your attitude. You see what I'm saying? It's like, man, this game would be so much better without the fucking PvP element. It's like, I can't believe I just lost my loot. This is just a long ass... the guy name is Johnny Thick right there. Johnny Thick just killed me. Biggie Bane just fucking killed me, man. This game sucks, man. I lost all my loot, man. So let me get this straight. I'm gonna end it here, right here. Let me get this straight. You mean to tell me that if you just have this is all emotions, this is all feelings right here. You see what I'm saying? There's either 2 things happening here. 2 things. One, you know that it's avoidable. You can avoid the robots if you just had PvE. You could feel a little bit calmer. You can bring your better weapons. You have ways of getting away from the robots because you will lose aggro. You have ways of doing that because you know that it's a little bit easier and a little bit more manageable. Or when it comes to fighting players, when you get killed by a player, you get your feelings hurt. You see what I'm saying? You get your feelings hurt way more. I think because he just said he had a whole story about like, man, this one guy killed me and took my best loot. This is just a video of him projecting that like this dude just took all my loot. This is just a projection story. Man, it would be so much easier if I played a game where there's none of that, you know, challenging stuff. It's one of the 2.
Studios could easily add new PvE threats to spice it up, but if you do that while also having players who will inevitably reach the ceiling and what they can reasonably obtain, they will eventually turn to just griefing newer players by hunting them, which...
I know you didn't just say fucking griefing. See, this is why we get fucking bullshit like TOS bullshit on our video games. You guys are fucking responsible for this shit. We always hear stuff like, man, see, this is why people don't teabag anymore, because everybody's trying to be friendly, haha, friendly in these fucking extraction shooter games. This is why people can't really say whatever the fuck they want and like chat and shit, because you motherfuckers are talking about griefing. I'm sorry, you're playing an online game. You signed up for a PvP/PvE game. You signed up for an online game. Do not come into the circle. Do not come into the circle and expect, oh man. Oh man. You mean to tell me the guy that has a gun could shoot me? And I too have a gun and I have to shoot them? And they're not going to be my friend? They're not going to be my friend? This is what we have to deal with. The pussification of video games. Bro, this video is long enough, so I'll end it here. I think the game is just fine the way it is because it succeeded on this just the way it is. We got a lot of people that are grown-ups, they're fat, they're lazy, and they're tired. They lost that dopamine. They lost that testosterone. They lost the challenge, and yet they want to come over to the challenge. You find that funny? You think that's... Is getting killed by Johnny Thick hurt me more than me getting killed by this or that robot. That's all this is. And I'll leave it at that. God damn fucking Canadians.